This right here is a 16 terabyte hard drive. It's really heavy. And this here is another 16 terabyte hard drive. Ooh, look at there. Two more 16 terabyte hard disk drives. I'm running out of space in my personal rig. I only have, I think, 2 terabytes worth of storage in it. And that's good enough for like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in the PCDC playlist. I film tons of stuff for each of those videos, and it very quickly clogs my personal drives. And that's where the Asus TOR AS5304T comes into play. See, I'm not a super network guru type of guy. I've just never really been that intrigued by networking, to be frank, and because of that, I never bothered to learn much about it. So this is perfect for a nub like me. I was more into the personal computer side of things back in the day, and now that I'm running out of space practically every week and having to delete terabytes of footage, this stuff is really gonna come in handy, and it should involve a fairly simple setup process, which is, again, great for a nub like me because I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. We're also gonna work on some redundancies. I think that they have support now for Backblaze, auto backups online, which is great for the storage. I'm not sure if we're gonna be doing any RAIDing, possibly RAID 10. I like 64 terabytes, and I think if we at least have one redundancy online backup, should be good enough. But at the end of the day, if something happens and the entire NAS fails, I'm not, like, it's not gonna be the end of the world if I lose all my footage. So I'm not too big on like having multiple redundancies, but at least one would be nice. We're gonna try to set all that up in this video. I'm a nub, so if I say something stupid, just let me know how dumb I am in the comments. But apart from that, stay with me. To get rid of that annoying activation watermark, hop on over to VIP SCD Key and purchase a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for fractions of the price of retail. Just use a secure payment method like PayPal, receive your key in seconds, and activate your OS here. Bye bye watermark. And be sure to use our new offer code SKGS for a sweet discount. So, this here is what the actual enclosure looks like, and I'm gonna try to show you just from this one camera angle what's going on inside. So if we pull these little hot swap bays out, there's nothing in them currently. So basically your hard drives go in here. Now you could also have an SSD in here for SSD caching, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the 4 hard drives that Seagate sent. And these are the drive bays, toolless, so that's really nice. And you can see that in there, we've got this little PCB with SATA power and SATA data connections for each drive. So this is a hot swap bay, and that means that I don't need to do any manual wiring, which is really nice. You just secure each of these hard drives to each of these trays and then slot them back into the enclosure. Super simple. Now, specifications for this NAS are pretty underwhelming, and in the context of what you'd expect from typical gaming PCs today. Thankfully, we will not use this to game with, even if that was possible. This uses a version of Linux, I believe, which is very lightweight by today's standards. We can get away with as little as even a gig of system RAM if we wanted. This, though, has 4 gigs. We're actually gonna bump that to 8 because I have a few extra SODIMMs laying around. Why not? It's also powered by an Intel quad-core Celeron 1.5 gig processor. It does turbo to 2.5 though, so yeah, there's that. And it's actually all baked into a board that sits on this side of the enclosure. You can kind of see it when you pull the front cover off. You can access the 2 SODIMM slots, and that's pretty much it. But the point of an enclosure like this, again, is simplicity. You shouldn't need to change too many things around, even if you wanted to. All we're gonna need to do here is install our 4 hard drives, power it on, connect this thing to the network, and click a few buttons in the operating system. So let's do that now. First thing to do, install the drives into the toolless drive trays. Watch how fast I do this. Boom, that was quick, huh? Then we just need to remove this magnetic cover. It's that easy. And slide each drive into position. You know, there is something so satisfying about installing hard drives into a hot swap bay. Just that nice click there. All right, it's literally that easy, folks. All 4 drives are installed. You can cover this back up. Go ahead and power on the NAS for the first time. Now with everything turned on and connected, I downloaded Asus TOR's control center and named the NAS SAL server, which you can see here. Now, when we log into it, we'll see this home page. I'm gonna click first on the storage manager, set up a new volume. I want advanced setup, and I think we're gonna go with JBOD. Now, in this window, we could select like any applicable RAID array. So for 4 drives, we could do RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, 6, 10. Many of these would be great fail-safes should one of the disk drives fail, but I'm not as much concerned with that as I am having sheer access to the largest capacity possible without serious compromise, and that's done with JBOD or just a bunch of drives. And I suppose I could go with RAID 0
but it's a bit more sensitive to drive failure, and I'm expecting at least one drive to fail at some point, maybe in the near future, and I might be able to recover data in a JBOD setup, whereas if it's RAID 0, yeah, it's all gone. So I'm gonna click on that one, and then I'm gonna click next, and then I'll select all the drives I want to include in that volume. Obviously, it's gonna be all 4. Select next, keep it on ext4, and click finish to allow the NAS to create the volume. A process like this will erase all data currently on the drives, by the way, so make sure you've moved important documents elsewhere. And after a few minutes, we'll be able to hop back into Storage Manager here, confirm that the new volume is in fact available and in great shape. All that's left to do now is map the volume so that we can easily access it from any PC in the network. And to do that, we'll hop into our NAS from the Network tab, we'll right-click on the SAL server folder and select Map Network Drive. We'll check this box here, leave the drive name as it is, and click Finish. It'll prompt us to enter our NAS's credentials. In my case, it's just admin. I haven't set anything up yet. And then we should be able to see our NAS as if it was a thumb drive or something similar in our This PC window, only it'll be under the Network tab rather than the Local Disk tab. And there it is, piece of cake. Now, obviously, I still need to set up Backblaze because I want at least one redundancy. And if the NAS fails, I mean, like, it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice to be able to recover that stuff simply, and Backblaze allows me to do that. I did confirm with ASUS Store that they do have support for it. You can do it through one of their apps. But that's the last thing I'm going to set up. I'm going to do it off camera because it's, let's be honest, not the coolest or most exciting thing to watch. Then we're going to do a quick data transfer test here. Yeah, not the fastest thing in the world. And look, I'm running off of Wi-Fi here in the office, so this computer is limited. I am network limited to an extent. I've only connected one of the 2 Ethernet cables to the switch in my media room, which is where the NAS is currently, but this sets up a wireless storage device nonetheless with tons of room for any and all footage. We can work on speeding this up later, but any important documents, other media, I can access it pretty much anywhere in my house on the network, which is awesome, and it's just one of the reasons why having a NAS like this can be so beneficial.
So that's about it for this one. I wanted this video to be an introduction into what a NAS is, what it can do, and the limitations of a small enclosure like this. Obviously, this isn't going to be like the best end-all be-all solution out there. No one's claiming that it is, and you could certainly build your own NAS from the ground up, but for a nub like me who just needs simple network attached storage, and it's literally what a NAS is, this enclosure works just fine. I want to thank them for sending the enclosure itself as well as all of that Seagate storage that is not cheap, folks. I mean, 64 terabytes even today is not cheap, and that it's just gonna be a big help, you know, being able to store all of my footage and access it relatively quickly without compromising my own personal build storage, because I don't have a lot of that by comparison. 1 or 2 terabytes just not enough for an editor who runs a YouTube channel or multiple YouTube channels. Anyway, be sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this enclosure. I'm gonna have it linked below if you wanna check it out, along with a lot of Seagate gear, including the 16 terabyte drives if I can find them. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Give this video a like if you have not already, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for building a NAS with me.